Merry Christmas! Oh, were you convinced? Merry Christmas! Oh, sisters and brothers, we continue to celebrate this great solemnity, this great feast of Christmas, this great season of Christmas, this Christmas time. The world, particularly the advertisers, try to convince us that Christmas ended on December 25th. We know better, yes? We know we spent, 3.5 weeks preparing for Christmas. Christmas is just getting started. We've got another 2 weeks of Christmas, huh? We've got a lot to celebrate. And this being the Sunday within the octave of Christmas, yes, the first 8 days of Christmas. The Sunday within the octave of Christmas, we celebrate this great feast of the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. It's a reminder, sisters and brothers, that living in a family, even living in a holy family, takes a lot of work. And you all know this. Many of you know this better than I know this. Living in a family takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work for wives to honor their husbands as is proper in the Lord. It takes a lot of work for husbands to love your wives and avoid any bitterness toward them. It takes a lot of work, you youngsters, huh? It takes a lot of work for children to obey your parents in everything, for this is pleasing to the Lord. Because after all, God sets a father in honor over his children, and a mother's authority he confirms over her sons. Sisters and brothers, being a family takes a lot of work. And it's fitting and it's beautiful that God gives us the shining example of the Holy Family to help us in practicing the virtues of family life, help us to form the bonds of charity. And the virtues are important. The virtues that we form, that we build, that we grow in families is important. We see all around us what it means when virtue is not considered important. That's not new. It's December 28th today, and if it were not Sunday, if it were not the Feast of the Holy Family, sisters and brothers, we'd be celebrating the Feast of the Holy Innocents. You know this story well, how Herod is going to search for the child to destroy him. How Herod, the historians of antiquity, called him Herod the Great. Maybe not so great after all. You know how he ordered the massacre of all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity 2 years old and under. Herod, and we heard a little about this in the gospel, huh? Herod mistook power for virtue, driven as he was by ambition, by ego, by fear. No concern about due process for Herod. He's too great for that. Relied on cruelty and violence instead of virtues. But thanks be to God, we have our families to challenge us, to support us, to pray with us, to help us to grow in the virtues. And we give thanks for our families and all the work and opportunities for growth that our families give us. Certainly our families at home. And these are important, yes? These are vital. These are primary. Certainly our families at home, but also our parish family. As we grow together, as we challenge each other, as we support each other, as we pray for each other. Our extended families. aunts and uncles and grandparents and grand aunts and grand uncles, and the whole kit and caboodle, the cousins. Even our diocese, as Bishop Johnston is working hard to tweak the way we handle formation. Even the entire church, recognizing how Pope Leo the other day is closing the holy doors in Rome as we conclude our most recent Jubilee, and how every week in the Jubilee we celebrated some other member of our church family. Even in the wider community, sisters and brothers, even those who are not practicing the Catholic Christian faith, we regard it as family. So that by giving thanks for our families, by living intently as families, we may cultivate heartfelt compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. So that as families, we may eat the fruit of our handiwork, so that we may be blessed, we may be favored. So that as families, we may raise a house of justice for God. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And praise be the newborn Jesus Christ.